If any of you have paid attention to the latest boxing news, you know that Anthony Ruiz has just become the first Mexican heavyweight champion, defeating Anthony Joshua. And he made some statements saying that the achievement that he reached was done particularly for Mexico, even though he's an American citizen. I agree with what he did 100%. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it's what other groups have been doing in this country ever since it was founded. You see, they understand that whether they're born here or they immigrate here, that their nationality on paper, which happens to be American, does not supersede the group of their ethnic origin. No other group does that. And I'm making that statement to say this. A lot of people in Black society are talking about this now and what he said, particularly on Black YouTube. Here's the thing. Why did it take a sports event to get us talking about this? We should have been thinking this way in this country. Now, there are many of us that do think with a Black first mindset because that's what we live every day. But I'm going to take it a step further. We have to deal with a great deal here in America that we have on our plates as Black people. All types of injustices are happening to us that we could push back against if we had unity. But we're too divided on religion. We're too divided on gender. We're too divided on, some of us, sexuality. I mean, it's across the board. There's a plethora of stupid things that some people in Black society here are divided on. Okay. Now that the conversation is going and people are starting to pay attention to it with this much focus, because I've seen several people talking about this. Is that going to change the mindset of those of us that were not thinking this way? Because every other group has been doing this for centuries. When they come here. Okay? Let's take it a step further. Not only should we have a Black first mindset towards each other here, we should have a Black first mindset internationally wherever we are. Imagine the power and the achievements that we could reach if anywhere in the world we are, whether it's here in America, Canada, the UK, Australia, wherever our people are, if when we saw another Black person, all of us had that mentality that Ruiz had. He's about his people first, no matter what he does, and particularly with this accomplishment, becoming the first Mexican heavyweight champion. And I'm pretty sure that's how he's seeing it. He's not calling himself an American heavyweight champion. He said he did it for Mexico, and rightly so. We have to start thinking that way as a people internationally when it comes to economics, when it comes to business, when it comes to just supporting each other with anything we're going through as a people. You see, we all have cultural differences, sure. But if you're another Black person, there's one thing that you can guarantee for certain. If you take a white person from America, one from Russia, one from Ireland, one from Australia, anywhere, the UK, and you put all of those people together, they've never met each other before, not one day in their lives. And there's Black people present, and it comes time to compete for something or do business, or worst case scenario, if they all happen to subscribe to the ideology of white supremacy, you know they're going to play as one team. They are not going to be divided at all. They might have minor differences. They may have extreme personal differences. But one thing you can be certain, there's going to be a unifying factor and a common denominator between those individuals. They are going to click up against our black asses. That's what we don't get in the world. You got people over here that will claim everything except for being black. Then you got people that will come here from different reasons, immigrants. They'll think they're not black like us. But you see, in a global system of white supremacy, yes, you are. They're going to remind you of that every single day. You might not want to accept it, but you will learn it sooner or later. When it comes to dealing with the so-called justice system here, when it comes to dealing in the business arena here, when it comes to dealing on a social class here, they're going to remind you what you are, no matter how much you run from it. So my message here, brothers and sisters, is this. Since it took a sporting event to really galvanize people and get us focused on, hey, he said he did it for Mexico. Yeah, he's on code. That's what it means to be on code, unapologetically on code at that. When are most of us going to start doing that? Some of us are, but there's not enough. What are we waiting on? And here's another thing about that. Anytime a serious issue comes to light, why does it always take entertainment to get our interest? As black people, we have to get out of that mindset. We have to get out of the mindset that we're only going to pay attention to something if it's funny or if it's entertaining or if it has something to do with a good time overall, or if it's sexual or whatever. We have to start prepping our minds to receive information that even when entertainment is not present, because you see something, I'm going to break something down to you. And many people that know me know these are my 3 philosophies when it comes to attaining and maintaining power. You got 3 main components, and I'm going to start with the least and progress on to the greatest. Money, respect, and information. I know many of you going to say, especially those of you that are not familiar with how power works, what do you mean money is the least? I'm going to break it down to you. I'm going to give you an example. When the United States was searching for Osama bin Laden, they went all over the world looking for this man, offering all types of monetary rewards. You know why they couldn't get him and get anybody to take that money and point out where he was? Whether you agree or disagree with his methods, whether you call him a terrorist or a freedom fighter, he had the respect of the people in the regions that he was at. Right there in Islamabad, Pakistan, he had the respect of those people. And they actually came there offering monetary rewards for people to give him up. They didn't do it because he had the currency of respect. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes money isn't the only currency that you're going to need to be able to buy the respect of a people. Sometimes respect isn't for sale, even in this world. Some people still value integrity. Okay, now let's progress on to respect. Respect, as I just mentioned previously, is a form of currency that if you have it, it will open doors for you that money cannot. It will help you make connections that money alone cannot, because it's based off of people's perception of you, based on your reputation, your ability to keep a word as a man or a woman, how you perform or produce, who you help in particular. These things help you garner the respect of any individual or group that you're dealing with. So that's the second component of power. Here is the absolute, and I dare anyone to dispute this. The absolute most important component of power is information. Information. You have to have information to do even the most basic and simplest of things. Look throughout history. Information has both started and ended wars without shots. If you have the right information, you pretty much can control any and everything. You doubt it? Look at the media. The way the mainstream media right now, no matter who you are, but especially if you're black, the mainstream media can put out a story on you in the next 20 seconds and say you did all kinds of things that you've never done. And immediately millions of people, when you come out your house, will be looking at you as if you're guilty of all those things. So don't tell me that information is not power. You think about that. You see, we as black people have to start respecting the value of learning from a multitude of sources. And here's another thing. When you are taking in information to become a knowledgeable person with the intent to use the information for whatever purpose, you have to learn from a multitude of sources. That includes those that you disagree with too. Because here's the thing. You don't have to agree with someone all the time to learn something from them. I'm going to say that again. You do not have to agree with someone all the time to learn something from them. So you can kind of tie this back to the Ruiz situation. What are you going to learn from that? Are we going to start being black first and unapologetically so, to the point that not only are we black first with each other here in America, but if we meet another black person from another country, another continent, wherever, and they're on the same page as far as benefiting black society as a whole, and they're not trying to harm black society, and they're not cooning, like a Candace Owens, or any other of these individuals that I could name that, I shouldn't even mention her name. I don't even view black people that think like that worthy of mentioning by name. I did so for example purposes only. But if they're not doing those actions that are harmful to black society, we have to start seeing them as family, and we have to start looking at it. How can we link up with our brothers and sisters to do things that are going to benefit us all as a group? You see, if we thought like that, imagine this for a minute. Because, see, this is something that a lot of us haven't even thought about. Imagine if we had the sense to link up with each other and support each other that way with a black first mindset.